In today's video, we're going to show you our pressure washer setup. Check it out. Hello everybody, my name is Phil and welcome to Miranda Detailing, where we bring you satisfying detailing videos. If you're interested in tips, reviews, how-tos, and more, then consider subscribing and click that bell. That way you don't miss stuff. So in today's brief video, I'd just like to show you our pressure washer setup. We've had a few subscribers ask how our pressure washer is set up with the pump, the hose reel, and so forth. So we're going to show you that. And basically, the setup that we have now is an upgrade from what we were using before, especially the pump. But it's not perfect yet. It's not exactly the way that I want it to be, especially with the small setup that we have in that Ford Expedition. But it works for now. So let's get into the video and we'll show you how we have it set up. Okay guys, so here is our setup. Some of our subscribers wanted to see our pressure washer setup. Now, this engine is an old engine. I don't think it's a Briggs & Stratton. It's just another generic 5 horsepower engine with the horizontal shaft here that's actually pretty generic. I forget the size, if it's a 3/4 inch shaft. I think it is. I may be wrong on that. I forget. But the pump is really what makes it. I upgraded this pump. This came from an old pressure washer with an old style pump, and I upgraded it about maybe a year and a half ago. And it is the AR pump. I'll put a link to it down below. I believe you can get it on Amazon. Now this setup is a little bit of a custom setup. I'll do my best to see if I can find all of the parts on Amazon and get links to it, possibly even eBay. But what this is an offloader or an unloader, and here is where the water goes in. So I have a 65-gallon water tank here, and this goes. Let me go around and let me show you. So here is the valve, the water shutoff, that goes from the bottom of the tank, and you see there the hose that connects to it here, and I'll show you where that goes. So it feeds all the way around here, and it goes into the inlet for the pump, does its thing, comes out here. So I have a little 90-degree angle outlet here that goes into the unloader. So this is the pressure valve, which I keep this all the way on high because with the 5 horsepower output, I believe this produces 2100 psi. I can check that. I actually have a valve that I can show you the pressure. So, but I turn this all the way on, all the way up. I don't really need to lower it. There's no need to. But here is the unloader, and it goes back into my tank. So the benefit of having the unloader here that goes back into your tank is that while you're using your hose, here's my 50-foot hose reel, of course, the gun. I'll have links to those down below if I can find them on Amazon or eBay. And the benefit of that is when you're using it, of course the water is going through your pump. When you stop, then instead of just building up in your pump and generating heat, which some cheaper pumps will have just a little offloader that just kind of spits the water out, you can recirculate it back into your tank. So now it's just constantly recirculating, keeping this cool, which is what you want. That's the benefit of having a nicer pump. This setup here, I think just the pump alone with the setup here cost me about $400 to $500, I believe. Might be different in your area if you can find, you know, different pumps that do the same thing, but to have this setup here, it's a little pricey, but it saves your pump. And these pumps last much longer, and with these, I believe they're called plungers, you can replace these as they break, as they go. So you don't have to replace the whole pump. This stays good. These you replace as you need to. So that's the benefit of that. So let me show you what happens when we turn it on and what happens here with the offloader. And I'll show you the pressure that this can put out as well. So when you do buy a hose setup like this, this is the 50-foot reel for pressure washer hoses. You need to buy one of these 90-degree brackets here. Not a bracket, but a 90-degree inlet to the hose. And I believe this is the quick connect that goes to here. So as you see, it gets chewed up quite a bit. I try to keep this as oiled as possible. So your quick connect, and of course the male end of the pressure washer hose, the 50-foot hose, to the female end, which goes to the pressure washer gun itself. So as you see, it gets chewed up quite a bit, but not a big deal. The hose has lasted me, I believe this one is going on almost 3 years, which is really good. So usually I check the hose and see if there's any abrasions, any kinks, or any breakages, but this one looks good. So this, the only thing I don't like about this setup with this 50-foot reel is this 90-degree angle here. It's just difficult to reel in the hose and connect it. Of course, it's more difficult with one finger or one hand. It's more difficult with one hand, so let's get two here. I'm going to have to replace these. They're already getting pretty grungy and all kind of corroded and rusty. So I'm going to have to replace those soon. I had to replace this one here. That's why that one looks all nice and new. And I also had to replace the one on the gun itself. I had to replace the gun, of course. So this actually came with this. So every once in a while, every 6 months or so, I check all of these to make sure that they're still good. I grease them up every few months, or as need be, just to make sure that they're good. And also the, oh yeah, I did replace this too. So both of these I replaced. And the little rubber seals in there as well. You want to make sure to double check those, because once this thing starts to leak from here, it means that that little rubber piece in there has broken, it's gone, and you just replace it. Those you can buy replacements for. As you can see, it's really difficult to do this one-handed. Everything wants to move. And that's the only thing with this setup too. I'm having to deal with the size, so I had to tie it down with a bungee. I don't have a way of bolting it down because it needs to be a little bit angled, as you see, because of the space here. And this, of course, is right on the edge here. I can't really make it go out any further. It's right on the edge of the plywood that I have. So it works, but I'll need to do something soon to make this just a little bit better. I've been running this system here like this for about 6 years now. So, and of course the pump upgrade was about 1.5 years ago, but it's looked this way for about 6 years, basically. All right. Okay guys, so one tip. When you are attaching your hose from your water tank, your static water source basically, what you want to do is not just plug this in here into your inlet, but you want to make sure the water is flowing also. So plug it in, let it leak like this a little bit, it'll work out water bubbles, and then you tighten it. There. Now you work out all the air bubbles, you get the water flowing into the pump. Because if you just plug this in and then turn on your water source at the spigot, it's not going to flow. It needs the air to be able to just flow, and then you plug it into here loosely, let that water flow, work out the bubbles, and then tighten it up. And then you start your machine, and it will hesitate for a little bit because it's sucking the water in, and then it'll come out of your hose eventually. It takes a little bit for the water to build up and finally come out of your hose, but that's not a problem. Once you have it all primed, that's basically what you're doing, is priming the pump, then you're good to go. Then you can start it and you shouldn't have any problems. So that's the setup, guys. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I know that setup is not perfect. It's not quite ideal, but the pump alone is really what I wanted to show, because with the unloader that goes back in the tank, and then you basically create that cycle, that way your pump doesn't overheat. It's a much better system than what we had before. So again, if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I try my best to answer them. And if you want any of those links to either the hose reel, I'll do my best to see if I can find links to eBay and Amazon to the part, the pump. The engine itself is just a basic 5 horsepower horizontal shaft, and I believe it's a 3/4. I'll do some research on that and find out exactly what that is. And that pump fit onto it easily. I just removed the old one, cleaned it up a bit, and then the 4-bolt system just went right onto that horizontal shaft of the engine. So it's been working great for the past 1.5 years or so. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have any comments, put them down below. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop and you don't miss stuff. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.